Hello friends, operator Starsky with the daily update from Kyiv, Ukraine. Today is day 518 of the failed Russian invasion in a country that they think should not exist. The Russian terrorists increased the number of strikes in the past several days. Today in the afternoon, around 2 p.m. local time, the Russian terrorist group, also known as the Black Sea Fleet, launched several cruise missiles targeting central oblasts of Ukraine. The missiles were intercepted over the city of Vinnytsia. Also, it was reported that 12 Russian bombers took off at Olenia Air Base. Also, we've just received a report that the missiles were fired by those bombers over the Caspian Sea. Considering the number of the aircraft, we can expect approximately 1,200 cruise missiles that will reach the Ukrainian airspace in the upcoming several minutes. Most probably, the Russian terrorists will be aiming for the civilian infrastructure like power plants, because over the past weeks they were conducting recon of the Ukrainian power grid, searching for vulnerabilities. Also, yesterday, the Ukrainian Marines shot down another Russian Ka-52. It was confirmed by the footage showing the crash site. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian defenders launched a production of the new surveillance drone called Sirko, able to detect the Russian positions within the range of 65 kilometers, and several hundreds of such drones are already being used at the front lines. Also, the Ukrainian industry is capable of producing between 800 and 1,000 drones of this type monthly. Several explosions were reported yesterday in the Donetsk, which, according to the Russian propagandists, was completely erased due to the incessant Ukrainian bombing for the duration of 8 years, but turns out is the most intact Russian-occupied city of Donbass as of today. Germany and Poland agreed to repair the damaged Ukrainian Leopard tanks. Also, it was officially reported that since the introduction of Bradley vehicles in Ukraine, only 10 of them were destroyed and damaged as of this moment. How is it possible? I don't know. Maybe it's because the Russian propagandists lie to you. Take Scott Ritter, who earlier reported that Ukraine loses 7 Ukrainian defenders versus 1 Russian invader, because it makes total sense. I mean, attackers always lose less personnel than defenders. Considering that the Russians lost more than 240,000 soldiers, it means almost 1.7 million Ukrainian defenders died. According to the General Staff of Ukraine, the number of wounded in the Ukrainian army is usually 5 to 8 times bigger, meaning Ukraine roughly lost 10 million healthy Ukrainian men, wounded and dead. Considering the population of Ukraine is only 30 million people plus 10 million women and children taking asylum abroad, the streets of Ukraine must be half empty with just scarce old people roaming about, because a third of the Ukrainian population is either buried or receives treatment in hospitals. If we go another way and consider the Russian bullshit about 300,000 Ukrainian soldiers being killed in the past 518 days, it means that roughly 43,000 Russian invaders died. At the same time, Oryx reported 11,000 Russian vehicles destroyed, but of course Oryx only analyzes the available footage, and you don't record every single Russian vehicle you destroy. The General Staff of Ukraine reports almost 30,000 Russian vehicles destroyed, including airplanes, ships, and of course the battleship Moskva. It's highly unlikely that the Russian invaders, including mobbies, convicts, and other unmotivated and untrained men, are losing approximately the same amount of people as vehicles, as if there's like each dead Russian terrorist had a personal tank. This confirms the fact that there is completely no sense in watching or listening to the Russian propaganda unless your life is too boring and you believe in the ancient Russian contactless martial art of combat using an orthodox cross. The military intelligence of Ukraine reported that as of today, the terrorist federation is being the biggest weapon smuggler in the world, which is true considering the amount of weapons being traded between Russia, Iran, North Korea, and other terrorist regimes. And the United Nations finally did something useful and reported that after investigating the strike on Olenivka prison, where the Ukrainian POWs were kept, they concluded that the POWs were not killed by a Ukrainian HIMARS missile, which was widely spread by the Russian bullshitters. The security service of Ukraine captured a Russian GRU spy who collected information on the defenses around Kiev. The loser arrived from Donbass and joined one of the universities in Kiev, spending his free time roaming around the strike sites and recording the movement of Ukrainian vehicles and columns. But the Ukrainian security service is just too good to let such fuckers be successful, and the spy got captured after his activities were documented. So currently we are expecting the incoming Russian missiles, and I will keep you updated. My name is Operator Starsky. As always, be safe.